Now, psychiatrists say that if you can trace the origin of your fear, it will disappear. The whole thing is a confounded lie. A MacGuffin you see in most films about spies. It is a thing that the spies are after. In the days of Rudyard Kipling, it would be the plans of the fort on the Khyber Pass. It would be the plans of an airplane engine and the plans of an atom bomb, anything you like. It's always called the thing that the characters on the screen worry about, but the audience don't care. And someone asks, what is a MacGuffin? And it's described in a scene in an English train going to Scotland. And one man says to the other officer, he said, what's that package above your head there? The other man said, oh, that's a MacGuffin. He said, what is a MacGuffin? He said, well, it's an apparatus for trapping lions in the Scottish Highlands. I said, but there are no lions in the Scottish Highlands. He said, then that's no MacGuffin.
In Miami, Florida. I grew up in the Caribbean, in Nassau, in the Bahamas, a British possession. And I moved to New York some years later, where I now live. Most young natives spend their lives in the Caribbean, fishing and working and basking in the sun that they no longer have any respect for because it comes every day. You don't relish in its consistency. I don't have an intellectual quality in my acting. At least I like to believe I do not have an intellectual quality in my acting. My approach to acting is a simple one. I try to experience, because I am given by nature, as we all are, a certain set of emotions, and there is a certain range to them. And you employ them when you work as an actor. So I rather not use something that's synthetic when I'm endowed with a set of emotions. So I try to work spontaneously and intuitively. I worked at a great many other things. They were all in the realm of manual labor, as I was unskilled for the most part of my early years. So I worked at as many unskilled jobs as you can imagine there being in the Caribbean and in New York. After I had been rejected by the people with whom I made my first attempts to enter the theater, I decided that I was embarrassed, and in order to save my face unto myself, I've got to go and prove that I could do this thing, and when I've proven, then I'll get out of the business, because I really had no interest in being an actor in the first place. I was looking for another kind of job, you see, and I thought that, well, actors are paid very well, and I also read an advertisement asking for young actors to come to this theater group where they were putting on plays. And I went not so much to try to be an actor, but I went to apply for a job. And they asked me if you're an actor. I said yes. And they said, would you read something for us? And I said I would. I read it very badly. I was promptly thrown out in the crudest way. It hurt my pride. I said then that in order to avenge myself, I must therefore learn to be an actor, go back and show them that I can, and then forget it. I tried hard, I learned some few things, I went back, and to my chagrin, I was thrown out again. And this pattern kept up for about a year, and by this time I was hooked. I wanted to be it because I liked the whole idea, okay? And most people who are not white are interested in the color question. I'm not a crusader as such. I don't have the time or the inclination, but I'm interested. I've been grateful to a large extent for the opportunities that has come my way, but I am not satisfied. What is satisfaction? Satisfaction denotes a point at which one ceases to try or ceases to grow. When you are satisfied, you become contented. And when you are contented, you begin to deteriorate, I think. I have no intentions of deteriorating, nor have I any intentions of satiating myself with my success. I want to keep trying to stretch. It's fun, and life continues to be interesting. Success has a way of making life extremely dull if one tries to sit on it and just savor of it.
doubts about myself in both worlds. Every movie I make, and every movie I start, I don't think I can pull it off. It's the same feeling I get going to work every morning as the feeling I got going to school every day. being a bit of an outsider and not being normal and not quite getting good grades and not being able to compete. And my tummy is spilkus, my mom would call it. You know, I'd have before school every day. And I feel that when I make movies too. I was, you know, the last kid to be chosen for the softball team, the last kid to be chosen for the touch football team, the last kid to be chosen for basically everything, including badminton.
We bought him a little movie camera, and he just started off. But we didn't know he was Steven Spielberg. I mean, this is my little blonde kid with the ears and little bangs. I mean, he'd want to do something harebrained, like go out in the desert and make a movie. I drove an Army Jeep. We lived in Arizona, and I had a pith helmet and a fatigue outfit, and he'd say, let's go, and I'd keep him home from school, and I used to lie. I wrote marvelous notes. I'm very creative. I could always think up a new ailment to keep my kid home from school. We'd go work out in the desert, and I just had a ball with him.
The shark was scheduled to make many more appearances according to the script, and when the shark wasn't ready, or when we tested it, it sunk. What we did was, I just decided to shoot up the shark, and in a way I think it increased it torqued up the suspense of the movie because you really didn't know where it was going to come from next. And rather than not seeing the shark every scene, instead I played a lot of the fear from people in water. Seeing their legs kicking, a point of view of the camera moving, or just seeing the surface of the water with nothing below. That's what I think turned the movie into more of an exercise in suspense than just a horror film.
I mean, I've been thinking a lot about a certain thing, which is essentially that, you know, we are who we are, you know, every year. Every year we change. I hope we change every year. I hope we don't stay exactly the same. And the movies are simply a reflection of who you happen to be on that particular month when that film's released, or that year that it took to write and create the story in the movie. I like to look back at the 80s and say, well, close enough, you know, E.T. was who I was in 1982. That's not necessarily who I am in 1990 anymore. And that's where I really can't predict. I can't go back and say I'm going to repeat myself. I'm going to take who I was when I was virtually a child and carry that over to the 90s as an adult. I don't think you can do that. I think you just have to go with who you are at any given moment in your life.